What's up, everybody? Jay Brown, Weekend Hooker. We are moving the big 38-foot travel trailer, the Bighorn. Gross vehicle weight rating capacity of this unit is 16,000 pounds, and right now we're sitting at about 15,2. So just wanted to give an update real quick. Obviously you can see where I started the video. Got the cruise set, 62 mile an hour. I don't know if you can catch that in the heads-up display, but anyway, cruise set, 62 mile an hour. We've been traveling about 48 miles, averaging 8.3 miles per gallon. I know a lot of y'all debate speed at which to tow with these gas engines, just to keep the RPMs and the transmission temperatures in check. If I can stay around that 62 mile an hour mark, I will keep the transmission temperatures down around the 160, 165, depending on ambient temperature outside. And I'm taking care of my equipment, right? I'm not trying to beat it up. There's no need to run 70, 75 mile an hour down the road, because when I do that with this trailer in tow or the catamaran in tow, I'm getting 2 to 3 mile per gallon less. So do the math. I'm not going to do it on here, but I'm going to stop quite often versus the 8.3 with this camper, and the 8.5 to 9 with the catamaran. Now, some people will argue, well, why not a diesel? So I think there's a time and a place for the diesel, and I live in eastern North Carolina, close to Raleigh, and it's pretty flat. I mean, yeah, we got some hills, but it's pretty flat. Now, if I was in the mountains, or if we lived out towards Colorado, higher elevations, absolutely boosted application, you cannot beat it. But I traded a 2022 Cummins diesel for this truck because of some emissions concerns. Didn't have any issues with it, just some concerns. Listen to that 6.6. Now that'll bring up, some of y'all will say, oh, look, listen, she's screaming. Well, in reality, this engine is designed to turn 5,400 RPM, and rarely does it ever get above where it's at right now. So, pulling a hill, this is a pretty decent grade. Obviously, you can't tell it in the video. But she's going to sit here. I've got the cruise set to 62. She's going to sit here and churn it up this hill. And so our transmission temperature has gone from 160, 162 to 167, which is validating speed, RPM, wear and tear. Now, I know these transmissions are designed to run around the 200 degree mark while towing, but I'm not really concerned with the 165, 170 that we see. And you get up around 200 degrees. If it's 100 degrees outside with 90% humidity, then your ambient conditions are going to allow for less heat transfer, and you're going to run higher temperatures. But anyway, so the 6.6 liter gas, this is a 2024 3500. It's a GM AT4, loaded out. Payload capacity is around 3,800 pounds. The towing capacity of this truck is around 17.8, something like that. More than enough, right, for what I do. Right now, she is pretty much right touching the overload springs. I mean, this is a heavy trailer, heavy pin box, bunch of pin weight, but it's smooth. I mean, right now with the 2500 Cummins diesel Ram, I would have the airbags at 55 PSI, and this thing would ride like an Abrams tank. So I'm very pleased with the performance of this rig while towing this camper. And the reality is I mean, all the guys on the D-Max forums and on the Cummins forums, and towing this amount of weight, you're not getting that much better fuel mileage, if any. And then you take into account the DEF fluid, Obviously, the price of fuel, the price of maintenance. Ladies and gentlemen, I can spend $92 and crawl underneath this truck, and in 15-20 minutes, the oil filter's replaced, the oil's replaced, the oil's drained, yada, 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 and I'm back at it. It's cheap. It's so cheap to maintain. So, what I would say is, you know, give the gas versions of the heavy-duty options, whomever you like, a chance. The reason I went with the 6.6 liter gas is because it doesn't have multi-displacement system. It is good stroke, big bore, you know, just common push rod, big V8. The 10-speed transmission, Allison branded, is a good transmission. It's always in the right gear. It keeps this engine in the power band. I test drove everything. 6.4 Hemi was much quicker, I would say, in just general day-to-day driving. Less fuel mileage, even with the MDS system, because it hardly ever stays in that unless you're coasting downhill. It did ride better, I would say, empty, but obviously I had the same suspension on the diesel, the coil spring suspension. The transmission, 8-speed transmission, is wonderful, almost bulletproof, I would say. I just don't want the MDS. I like the look of the GMC AT4. The front end, this revision in 2024 is nice and aggressive, but you know, that's a personal preference. And then the Ford, lots of power, actually better fuel mileage just driving up and down the road on the 40-mile test drive that I took them all. Better fuel mileage. You can definitely tell it's got more power, but they are having just a nightmare amount of issues with transmissions and the engines, between the spark plugs, between the cams. You know, now the GM is not without its issues. I know there's some guys who have had some oil leaks, and then the early series of this motor had some bottom end crank issues, but those are few and far between. I did a ton of research, and as of today, as of May the 16th, whatever this is, the truck has 13,825 miles on it, and I love it. I mean, I daily drive the truck. You get a lot of compliments on the color. This is the Thunderstorm Gray. The technology of the truck is really nice. I like whenever you turn your turn signal on. I'm gonna turn my right turn signal on. It'll show me what's down there on the side. Obviously, we got the big tow mirrors. They're extended out. The puddle mirrors are excellent. This is pretty much what Ram went to as far as the design. You do have a thick A-pillar here that when that mirror is pulled in, you're gonna have to tuck your head around it to gander and look. But outside of that, I mean, it really is just an overall excellent truck. And so yeah, I went with a 3500 because I've got a lot of pin weight with this camper. But to be honest with you, when I drove the 2500 right back to back with the 3500, there's no difference, because the suspension that they both ride on is identical until you get to the overloads. So obviously, why not go 3500? Well, you also get a beefed up, larger ring and pinion gear, bigger axle. That just means, you know, it can hold more. The carrying capacity of it all is just better. Anyway, I know we all have our personal preferences, but saying all of that to just say that, yeah, this is it's a great option. If you're looking for something that can do practically anything that you need, if you're in lower elevations and you're not towing stuff up, you know, in high elevations and need the boosted diesel, right, to do that, to overcome that thinner air, then this is a absolute wonderful option. So anyway, still loving the truck. Haven't had any issues with it, and if I do, I'll be sure to post them up here and let you all know. Some people that haven't been on the channel or haven't seen any of the videos may ask, like, what exhaust are you running? You know, it sounds a little bit louder than factory, and that is the Borla Attack. It's just a muffler, didn't do anything else. Everything else is factory on this truck, and will remain factory on this truck for the foreseeable future. So that's it. Questions, comments, let me know. Other than that, hope you guys have a wonderful rest of whatever day it is that you are watching this video, and see you on the next one. Peace out.